Today, we're delighted to welcome Michelle Salom, an ACSM exercise physiologist and NASM exercise behavior specialist with over 25 years of experience. Along her impressive career in fitness, Michelle loves for creativity, led her to teach music and dance to children, author a captivating children's book titled Where Are You, Butterfly, and pursue her own artistic endeavors as a singer, dancer, and actor. Wow, thank you so much and welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you. I am so happy and excited to be here.
Yes. So, okay. So I'm going to have a question for you because I think our listeners really want to hear this. So,
Okay.
especially coming from you and with your background, could you share with us what your self-talk process looks like? Like, especially during those challenging moments in like your fitness journey, our fitness journey, like what is there such a thing as like a self-talk process?
Yeah, I think that's everything actually. When you're trying to get into the whole fitness endeavor in your life, like you're trying to incorporate it, it's what you're saying to yourself that helps you accomplish it and achieve it. So you have to motivate yourself thinking, okay, I can do this. And you start with baby steps because we tend to be our worst critic. We look at ourselves like, oh my God, my belly, oh, underneath my arms. And in reality, I think it's really the way that we look at ourselves, not what other people are seeing. So it's that
Yeah.
image that we self-talk. We're like, oh, I hate the way these jeans look on me. And especially when you're trying on new clothes, it's that
Right.
self-talk that you're like, oh, this looks terrible. And I look at all these little bumps. And the way that I do it is that I just tell myself, listen, I am what I am. I gotta love myself the way that I am because listen, if you're healthy, that's the best thing you can be. You know, there are people out there that are not healthy and yet they're still filled with confidence. And you tend to wonder, why are we so hard on ourselves? You know,
Right.
because we are.
We are our worst critics. Like
Absolutely.
if we when it comes down to it, we really are our worst critic. And I think you're so right point on when it's the self-talk when we talk to ourselves, it has to be positive like you do. And that's why I love when I follow you and I see what you do. You're such a true inspiration. Like I really have to say thank you
So
so
much.
much for that because your messages really are for everybody. Like it's just these are the simple basic that a lot of times these messages that you say are just so like, oh yeah, I take a step back and I'm like, yeah, you're right, Michelle, you're absolutely right. Why I need to start thinking like that as well. It makes a big difference. It really makes a big difference.
Yeah, and you know, in this state of how we are with social media, and every time somebody's going to post, they make it so perfect. And in reality, that's not how life is. And when I go to post something in exercise, okay, this is it. This is how it is. When you go work out, you're not going to look all made up and perfect. I mean, you're doing it because you want to feel healthier and positive about yourself. So if I'm going to post something, I want it to be realistic to what real life is. It can't be perfect, you
No,
know?
no, and that's why it's so nice that it's so relatable, right? So
Exactly. That's
what
what I
you
want
say
to
is
do.
like
Absolutely.
and yeah, and it actually comes across that way. So that's it's relatable. And you know, it's just lovely. So what advice, since we're talking about this, right? So
Okay.
what advice would you give to someone looking to create a sustainable habit of incorporating exercise into their daily life?
Okay, so first thing, choose one thing you want to start with. One simple thing. So let's say walking, because that's easy. You don't need to buy a membership to something. You don't need to buy equipment. It's just putting on a pair of sneakers, going outside and doing it. And walking happens to be one of the really great things to incorporate as a cardio workout. So you start with that, let's say, and you do it for, give yourself 10 minutes. I mean, we do things for 10 minutes. We're on Instagram for 10 minutes sometimes, actually even more than that. But anyway, so give back to yourself,
Right,
you know,
exactly.
do 10 minutes for 21 days straight and put it in the alarm of your phone. Like tell yourself, okay, today at I don't know, in the morning or in the evening, depending what your lifestyle is like. Maybe some people like to do it when they get home from work, or maybe
Right.
there's someone that likes to do it really early in the morning and get it out of the way. 10-minute walk around your block. for 21 days. So you can create the habit.
Have
And
it.
then you continue that on for 3 months. And now you create a lifestyle change. So your body is almost like craving it because you've been doing it now for that length of time, and created the little habit. And then you can add to it. You can add some weights. You can add maybe a longer walk, maybe a little jog in between, just to get you started and get those juices flowing.
Wow, you're absolutely right. Because I do my walk talks, right? So,
Mhm.
there are some days where I really struggle, but
Yes.
I just know that when I put on those sneakers, I
Mhm.
know how I feel when I come back home.
Yeah.
Right. But it's like you just said, it's that one step. You got to put those sneakers on and you got to walk out that door, right? Like you just got to get
Exactly.
that. You got to do it. You got to do it.
And if you ever listen to Mel Robbins, she says the 5-second
Oh,
rule.
absolutely. Yes.
You put those sneakers on, you go 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, I'm going. Don't hesitate, just do it.
Just do it. Well, exactly.
Exactly.
Just do it. Yeah, no, just do it. But I actually have to say, I didn't realize 10 minutes would make a difference. So 10
Absolutely.
minutes, really 10 minutes. Okay.
Yeah, because if you have to be realistic about your time. And
Okay.
oftentimes people think, oh my gosh, I have to put so much time to work out and I don't have this time. Okay, but don't make it so long. Start with just the 10 minutes. You're going to see
Okay.
a difference in 21 days if you're walking for 10 minutes for 21 days straight. You will see some kind of a difference in your body. You may not see like massive amounts of changes, but
Right.
you're going to feel different. Again,
Okay.
we're changing that self-talk because it's a positive thing. You're saying, okay, man, I'm really doing something good for myself. I'm taking this little time out, 10 minutes to do my walk because it's my time. So that alone changes everything.
And we're back to that where we started from, was that self-positive talk.
Exactly.
So you're incorporating the self-talk to get yourself out and do the 10 minutes. So
Exactly.
it all correlates, like it's all together, and it makes so much sense. It
Absolutely.
really, really does. So how do you do it with your clients? Do you do the same thing? Do you do slow, like step by steps? Like talk to us about how, like, you would, like, if you take me, for example, because I'd be one of those challenging clients. I'm sorry to say that, Michelle, but like, so let's take me on for an example. How would you like start with a new client? Like what are your steps? Like what are your processes?
Okay, so when I start with a client, I do an evaluation because I need to know how does that person process things? What have they done in their past as far as exercise related things? Have you been to a gym before? Have you incorporated walks in your life? Like, what are you doing? Because I need to see if it's someone who's never done anything at all. And then I approach that a little differently. But if you've already had exercise in your life, you know the benefits of
Right.
it, because anyone who's
Right.
ever done it notices, man, I really feel good about doing this in my life, versus someone who's never done it and they have absolutely no clue, which I've had many people like that, where I really have to start slow with them. But for someone like you, which you probably exercise in your life at some point, I start
I try.
evaluating.
I really do. I do try. I
I
do
mean, I
try.
see you
Yes.
walking when you do your
Yep. I do.
stuff.
Yeah, no, I do. I
I
do.
start with that. Like, I'll ask you, how much time can you give yourself? And you tell me. I can maybe do, I don't know, 30 minutes, 3 or 4 times a week. I'm like, okay, great. Let's take that. But when I work with you, we're going to work with the harder stuff, which is the weights and how you incorporate your whole body parts, everything, upper, lower, abs, the whole thing. And then on the side, I tell you, now make a schedule for yourself. Figure out what day in between seeing me that you're going to incorporate that time of, let's say, your cardio, something for cardio, your treadmill, your bicycle riding, walking, anything that incorporates cardio. Because when I'm with you, I want to do the hard stuff. I want to do the weights, the parts that maybe you're not familiarized with. But anything cardio you can do on your own. So I set up a schedule for you. Let's take Monday through Sunday. Let's see what days you have. On Monday, if you're not seeing me on Monday, what are you going to do for yourself? And then you can say, oh, okay, I think I'm going to do a 30-minute walk in the afternoon because that's the time I have when I'm perfect. Put it in your calendar, And then I follow up with you every time I see you. Hey, what have you done this week? Did you do anything that you need to tell me about? And then also the other evaluation is food. How do you eat? because that is
Yeah,
really
that's
important.
important. Yeah, that's important.
Yes.
That's really important. I actually like the fact that you actually schedule things out. I'm a scheduler. I like checklists.
Yeah.
You know, I know that my listeners are the same. And it's really important. Like it actually keeps you, I guess you would say, not only motivated, but it keeps you accountable. Like it's keeping
Yes.
you accountable of what you want to get done, right? Like so you make sure that your client keeps themselves accountable for
Yeah.
what the goal they want to reach. And I
Yeah.
think that's
Absolutely. And I
amazing. Like,
follow
yeah,
up with
no, I
them.
mean, it makes a big difference. Like it makes a big difference. It really does.
I
It
mean,
really does.
what I like what I like to tell someone who I'm starting with is this is not as hard as you think, because oftentimes people think this is so difficult for me and I can't incorporate. I mean, these are like the things that I hear all the time, the little talks, and I
Yeah.
tell them, no, it's not. It really is not. If you make the time and you tell yourself that you want to do this, because this is the other thing that I find often with clients is that they are not ready. If they're not ready to do this, then it's really hard for me to push onto them.
Oh, yes.
Yeah. I've
And
had
to be the
many
resistance.
clients.
It's more of like that resistance then, right?
Yes,
Like they want you, but they can't work with you because they're not there yet. Right. Yeah.
yes.
No, I know. I get that too. Yes. I don't
But
know. Yeah,
often
that's
it must
hard.
happen with you with organizing because I
Oh,
love to
totally.
organize and I hear it all the time. Oh,
Yes.
but my garage is so, it's overwhelming. I don't know what to do with it. I'm like, okay, you're looking at it in the wrong way.
Wrong way, right. You know, it's all the mindset. It really
Yes,
is. It's all about the mindset. No, no, no,
absolutely.
for sure. No, no, no. But I mean, like for the working out and the wellness of it, that is like amazing. Like so now that we're in May now, right, Michelle?
Yeah.
So we're in
Uh-huh.
May. School is wrapping up. And I know that everyone's looking into that like that summer look for the beach.
Yeah.
So do you have any suggestions that, you know, our busy moms and our listeners can maybe do on their own aside from, you know, contacting you? But what could they do aside from the
Okay.
walks and the everything?
Well, they can incorporate exercises. My goodness, we have so many options now. They don't cost you a thing, like including my social media. Look up things that you want to do. I mean, I even look up yoga, let's say. That's a quick example. I don't always
Okay.
have a lot of time to do yoga, but I like to incorporate maybe a 15-minute workout. So I will look up on YouTube 15-minute or 20-minute flow yoga with, I don't know, someone on YouTube. And I will
Okay.
put that in there and I'll incorporate that into whatever it is I'm going to do for the week. So I think my suggestion is make a weekly plan, and every week can change because as we get closer to the end of the year, especially if you're a mom and you know how busy the schedules become with at the end of the year, you have all these meetings, all these after school activities. Everything is like, yeah,
Everything.
oh, they're graduating, oh, and you're just totally overwhelmed. So
Totally overwhelmed. I know. For some odd reason, you have to just think that we have to still take care of ourselves, right? Like we
care is
have to still,
number
yeah,
one.
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Otherwise, we won't be able to celebrate with our children if they're graduating, right? Like, right? We have to,
absolutely. Listen,
right.
you have setbacks, and that happens to everybody. Like for instance, I'll give you an example. I got really sick 2 weeks ago or 2.5 weeks ago, and it set me back. And it's very discouraging because you're like, oh my goodness, why does this happen? But then you start thinking, I'm doing too many things at the same time. I'm like doing this. And
Mhm.
then what ends up happening is that you're forced to slow down
Slow
and take
down,
care of yourself.
right?
Because guess what? Now you're sick. You have
Now
to
you're
stay
sick.
home. I had to
Yep.
cancel a whole week of everything I do, all my classes, all of my training sessions with clients because I was sick.
Right.
So it
Right.
happens. And what I've learned is that I have to take the time for self-care. Whatever it is, incorporate your self-care time. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, whatever it could be, squeeze it in there because I know we can, because we take the time to go on social media, which is really, what do we really get out of that? Not much, except not looking and looking and looking and looking,
Right.
unless for a purpose.
Right, for a
Um,
purpose, yes. But yeah, let's say, why don't we just clarify that? We try to do it and make it as a for a purpose. Correct,
or
yes.
the purpose of looking up exercises, or
Right, exactly.
someone like you
Right,
that's giving advice for organizing.
right. Mhm.
And there's
Yep.
lots of stuff out there, but
There
often
is lots of
we're
stuff out there.
looking
Yeah.
at like, all this stuff that has happened during the week. And you're like, oh yeah, that was really nice. And I'm like, what am I doing? I just spent 30 minutes, you
I
know?
know, right? And you just like, you're right. Like, so those 30 minutes, we can actually either be outside walking,
Exactly.
lifting some weights if we have, and have some at the house, or do a YouTube. She even just said like 15-minute yoga. I mean, like, I didn't know that they had 15-minute yoga available on YouTube. And now I'm going to be, because I like
Yeah.
yoga. I do really like the yoga and Pilates, but I didn't realize that YouTube offers a short stint of 15. I
There's
love that
like
one.
several people you can follow. They actually
Okay.
have like all these different like versions of what they're going to do for the day. Today's a 15-minute flow. This is a more core oriented, and then tells you how much time, 30 minutes, 45 minutes, depending what time you have. So whatever I have that day, I'm like, you know what, today I'm going to give myself 15-minute flow yoga, and then I'll set it up. I'll put up my little, if I can use my computer, I can use a TV, because now you have YouTube on TV.
Yes, you
And then
can.
I
Yes.
follow her. Same thing with exercises. I've done HIIT classes like that. I've done any kind of weight training. If like it's anything new that I want to learn, I'll do that like that. I'll look it up and I'll do it. Or I'll go to the gym too. There's plenty of
Right.
classes there.
There's
But
plenty of
it's
couches there,
something that
right?
anyone can do. You don't have to pay anything extra. It's like oftentimes I hear, oh, but I have to pay for a membership and then to attend the classes. I'm like, no, you don't. You don't need any of that. Even when I
No.
train, you're like, but I don't have any equipment at my house. Don't worry, I bring everything. I bring a box of everything. So and then I teach you. I like to teach you. This is
Yeah.
what you're gonna need to get on the days that I don't see you. Why don't you see if you can do some bicep curls or tricep dips? I give you some suggestions. Try to make it really, really simple, because simple is really the way you're gonna do it in your life. Because if you complicate things, then you make the excuses. Oh, this is
Right.
too
Yeah, no,
difficult.
and then they get overwhelmed, right? Like just right. And so it's that overwhelming that you have to get them to get overcome. And that's the
Yeah.
hardest challenge, right? That's the
Mhm.
hardest challenge.
Hardest
Is
part.
that is that really the hardest challenge, is when they're too overwhelmed
Yes.
by like putting it is? And
It's
how
a
do you and how do you work with them on that?
I try to tell that client, let's take it in baby steps. Let me do something really simple with you. And then from there, we'll build. So I'll give them a really simple workout, especially if it's a client that wants to hire me to learn. So let's say they
Okay.
want a month with me. And with that month, they want to take whatever I give to them to work on their own. And I can always follow up with them later. I take a sheet of paper and I write down all the exercises. I break it down by body parts. This is what you're going to do for your upper body. Here's what you're going to do for your lower body. And then let's not forget your core. Let's do some stuff for abs. And I want you to follow this and then try it without me. When I'm not there after I've taught you, and then when I come back, let me know if you forgot something. Let me know if or show me how you're doing it so that I can correct you. And that's how I do it. Very simple.
Very
Basic,
simple.
basic workouts. Yeah.
Yep.
Nothing
But
complicated.
actually, that actually makes it, that's like a nice, gentle way to
Mhm.
incorporate working out. Like,
Yes.
so really that, like, for me right now, listening to what you just described
Yeah.
is really like that, like, I can do that. I think, I mean, like that makes it so
Absolutely, you
that you
can
can
do it.
say those words.
Mhm.
And that's what you want to hear, right? You want to hear, oh my gosh, I can so do this now. Like, right?
Yeah.
Like you're my cheerleader, Michelle. And you are actually. You did there was I think it was about 2 weeks or something like that. And you said there was a specific body part where you had to stretch it out. And I'm
Oh,
like,
the groin.
oh, the groin. And I
Yes.
have to tell you, I'm like, you are out. And so I did that. I just wanted to share that with you.
Oh,
I
yeah.
did follow you. I did try that stretch. You're so right. That is like
Yeah.
that's a hidden little muscle there.
No, and my next series of all that I'm going to be posting are a series of stretches. I have a whole bunch
Okay.
of really neat stuff to do that
Okay.
you've never thought about how you can stretch your body that way. So I'll be doing stuff like that. But this is the example. When I post on Instagram, and there are a lot of other people who post like me, um, follow people and find what you like. Because of all things, you want to make something fun. If it's not fun, you're going to just find the excuses not to do it. So
Yeah.
if you like
No,
doing
it's
fun stuff, do it, you know?
Yeah. No, no, no. And I can actually feel, I can relate to that as well, because some of my clients also see all the threads of everything that you could possibly do for the organizing world, right?
Yeah.
But you just have to find the person or that feel or that vibe to make
Yeah.
it so that it works for you, right? Because it might not work for everybody. I
Yeah.
mean, even though
I
they
mean,
might want to, right? Like they might want to, and then they see somebody else like a personal trainer, and they're like, "Oh no, that's too hardcore. I can't do this," right?
yeah.
But I mean, like for you though, Michelle, you actually, for on my personal stance, my personal intake on this is that you really take everybody into consideration, and
Yeah.
you just don't assume anything. So you really take it so that somebody that watches you, you make it so that it's relatable and that they can be accountable for themselves. Like that's the message that I get when I watch you. Like that, the stretching, like, because
Yeah.
I honestly, I never would have thought of that. Like literally, like you actually take it and you break it down in steps
Yeah.
that is like, oh, it makes people think like, oh, yeah, you're right.
Well, I'm so happy you're telling me that because sometimes I think, gosh, I hope I'm getting the point across because I really think really hard about what I'm going to post and how am I going to present it so that everybody can understand that, okay, here's how it is. It goes this way and then you push that way. And
Yeah.
I don't want to make it complicated because I want everyone to be able to do it. I don't want it to be that, a person says, oh, that's too hard. I can't accomplish that. I'm like, no, I want it for everybody. Everybody should be able to stretch their groin.
You know, right? To get really specific about that one. No, but actually, you know what? It's true though. It's like those hidden body parts, right? So what if you care to share with us, what has been the most challenging that you've had to work with on a client? Like what was their most challenging that you've had to get them to get on board and get the results that they wanted? Has there been challenging clients? Like,
Yeah, absolutely.
yeah.
I've challenging well, I've even had
Could you share on any of them and how the journey was with them?
well, I've had clients because they have certain expectations on how they want to look, let's say. And they'll sit there and say, I want to look like this. And they'll show you a picture of like, I don't know, Cindy Lauper, or you mean not Cindy, Cindy Crawford, or somebody that's like way out of their league. And I tell them, I'm like, listen, if you didn't look like that in the first place, you're not going to look like that because I don't even look like that. Okay. Find a picture of yourself when you felt and looked the best. And it could have been at a point where they were a lot younger or they were more fit. Life makes your bodies change, especially as you get older, when after you have children, it changes. But there's got to be a point in your life where you were like, you know what? I really felt good here in this picture. And I'm like, okay, great. Because you're your own representation. Put that on your refrigerator door. Say, I want to go back there. I want to go back to that look that I had. Even if it was, I don't know, 10 pounds lighter, whatever it may be. But be realistic. And I've had people that they sit there and show you this stuff, and you're like, I'm like, "Oh, I hate to tell you, that's
Right.
not going to happen." And I have to break it to them.
Yeah.
And I've had, and another thing that has been challenging is when people lie to me
Oh,
because,
they do? Really?
oh, yeah. Because sometimes when I see a challenge with somebody's eating habits, I'll say to them, okay, I want you to create a log of what you've eaten the entire week and be honest. What you drank and what you ate. Write it all.
Right.
Because if
All
I don't
right.
see something happening, I'm like, there's got to be something going on here. So then they'll break it down and they'll write everything down, but they'll lie to me. They won't tell me the alcoholic drink they had at night, or they won't tell me the Diet Pepsi they had in the morning. They'll make it perfect. I'm like, this isn't realistic. You're only hurting
No, it's
yourself.
not realistic. Right.
Yeah, don't lie to me. I am here to help you. So if there's something that you're not saying, how can I help you if you're lying? You're really just lying to yourself,
You're
you know?
lying to yourself. Right.
That's another
Right.
challenge I have often with clients when they have that
Wow.
food thing.
Right.
They
Okay. So for the audience, I just want to, I'm sure, look what I have my Stanley cup. Can you see it, Michelle? Yes. So
I
I
have one
drink.
too.
Yeah, yeah, there you go. Yep. So I do have to say that yesterday I did not drink as much. And do you know that my body felt it? Like
Absolutely.
I felt that like this morning, I actually felt, I'm like, oh, I don't know why and it's because I literally did not drink as much as I did on all the other days prior. So yesterday made a big impact that because of the fact that I felt it this morning.
Absolutely. And
I mean,
also,
it's just amazing. Like I'm like, yeah,
yeah, you
mhm,
feel it. You when you're
I feel
dehydrated,
it.
you can get a headache from being dehydrated. And if you were outside and it was hot that particular day, you feel it and your mouth feels dry.
Mhm.
And especially when you have an active career, like you have an active career, you have to move things, take things, put things down. Same as
Right.
me. I have an active career. I have to grab weights and hand it to people. Sometimes I'll do a little walk with them if they want to warm up. So if I don't have my water with me, I will certainly feel it. So everybody should have 8 ounces or more of water a day. And it becomes another habit where you just carry it with you. This is my baby. I take it with me everywhere I go. And I have several. I have like, oh, I forgot that one. And the other day I lost one because I left it in the cart at Target. I was like, no. But anyway, it's like a baby. It's attached to
Yeah,
my
it's a
body.
baby. Yeah. Yeah, no, it's true. So how many ounces of water do you suggest aside from do you like because people like, those big jugs of water. Do you recommend like the 64 ounce, 48 ounce, 32?
You
Like
want to be realistic
what do
again.
you recommend?
A good 20
Especially here in
ounces.
South Florida, especially like in South Florida with our heat and our summer that's coming up, that's approaching fast.
I think they say 8 glasses a day, which I think we need more than that. 20 ounce,
Okay.
maybe two of these 20-ounce things, if you
Okay. Yep.
can. That's being more realistic. I mean, those big jugs, how practical is that? Are you going to be taking that around with you everywhere? Every time you go in, you're going to be taking this big jug. So just keep filling it up. Keep drinking it, filling it up. And funny enough, like you said, your body starts feeling it. Like, oh, I didn't drink enough water today. I am so thirsty. And it's because
So
you
thirsty.
mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Body becomes
It,
to it.
Yes, and it's really true.
Uh-huh.
But you know what happens is that when it so this is okay, so just this is I'm being true on this one, all right, Michelle, I'm being true with you.
Good.
This is not the first time that this happened because now I know what I did. So when it first happened and I didn't realize the day after what I had done, like why I was feeling that way, it took me a while to figure out like what did I do yesterday that makes my body feel this way today. And so now, and that day, it took me a half a day to figure out that, oh, the day before, I didn't really drink as much water. So it's my fault that it happened to me just now because I was at fault that I didn't drink. But it took me a while to figure that out. So I
Yeah.
mean, I'm on the record. I'm being true to you. I mean, I am being
But I
true.
gotta tell you what
Um,
I like about what you're saying. This is what I like a lot about what you're saying, because oftentimes people don't do this. You pay attention to how your body's feeling. Sometimes people ignore the signs of what their body is saying. And you paid attention and you said, I don't feel so good today. What did I do that was wrong? And you caught yourself. And
I
now you
did.
realize your mistake. Sometimes people will go days on end feeling something and then not realizing, why do I feel this way? Well, it could be that you didn't drink enough water. It could be that the night before you had 2 glasses of wine instead of one. It could be that the night before you ate something that was high sodium, which we don't realize how we do that. But let's say we have sushi with a lot of soy sauce, which we love. That has
Love.
a lot of
Yeah.
sodium and it'll bloat
The
all
salt.
day.
It's the salt, right? The salt, and it bloats
Oh.
up. Oh.
Mhm.
Mhm.
So all of that is great because you followed your own instinct. You saw the signs that your body was telling you something. And that is a fantastic thing. I'd love to hear that, you
Well,
know?
thank you. I'm being true to you. I'm being true, but yeah, but no, but I actually like how you actually in set also started in the beginning, like with a habit.
Yes.
And so I do the same thing as well. Once you do the habit, then it incorporates into a lifestyle change. But
Yes.
as you mentioned, it takes the 3 months, right?
3 months.
For the body. Now, does it really take 3 months for the body to see actual results after the 3 months? Or can you see, like you had mentioned before, the
Yeah.
1 week walking, so that people can gauge, like our listeners can gauge on this? Like what are
Okay.
you,
So
can you break it down for them a little bit? So, because
absolutely.
we're all visual people, I think that's where we're at.
Okay. So really, the 10-minute walk for 21 days is a good start, but you got to add more to that. At least a good
Okay.
30-minute walk. If you can't do it for the 21 days straight, at least
Straight.
3 to 4 days a week. But then
Okay.
you want to incorporate some weight training. And this is when you want to really start getting into the fitness. For me, when I was starting with you about the creating the habit, you got to start with the habit. Then once you have the habit, now you start incorporating the fitness workout. So that's why I take it that way, because
Okay.
in 3 months, you created a lifestyle change that hopefully you'll do for the rest of your life. So in those 3 months, you want to incorporate more things. So maybe the 21 days of the 10-minute walk, then add maybe a 15 to 20-minute walk. Then the next month, add some little weights, bicep curl, do the basic, upper body and lower body, maybe some simple stuff for your legs with an elastic band, and do some biceps, do some shoulder exercises, shoulder press,
Okay.
simple
Right.
things, but incorporate for at least 3 to 4 days a week. And then the lifestyle changes it. This is if you really want to see massive amounts of change in your body.
Right.
So, but I want to create the habit first. So,
Okay.
and in the end, it takes a little time to really start seeing your body change, as far as like really seeing the composition coming down, your body fat reducing, but it takes discipline to do that. So create the lifestyle change, and then you continue on with the discipline. And then the discipline is forever, because you don't do something just to do it for 3 months and then stop.
No.
It makes no sense.
No, it makes no sense. No, it makes no sense. It's just like, yeah, no, and that's in anything that you do, right? It's the same thing that when I work with clients, right? It's they can get their house completely beautiful, completely the way that they want. We set their goals, we do, but then it's also the maintaining of the house, right? So
Absolutely.
it's the same thing. It's just all about, and then if you really take it and break it down, we're back to where we started from again in the beginning, Michelle, and it's all about the mindset, right?
Right. It's all about the mindset.
It's all about the mindset.
Sorry.
It is. So, okay. So for our listeners, how can they reach you? Like, tell them how they can reach you. And what we'll do is I'll add into the show notes, I'll add, your, I guess your social media, your website, whatever you would like, so that they can reach you. But right now, verbally, how can they reach you?
Well, they can Instagram me through @MitchieFitBits and send an instant message, or they can just call me with my phone number. I always have my phone available, which is 786-301-3313.
Right. Thank you so, so much, Michelle. I hope you enjoyed it today. This was awesome.
I
I thank
did.
you. And I just wanted to, Michelle, you are my special, because as my host of this podcast, you are my very first guest speaker on the podcast. So I actually thank you. Thank you for taking the time out. Yes, no, thank you. Thank you. Thank you for taking the time out and to be here with us and our listeners.
Thank you. I thoroughly enjoyed it.